Here we go. We're back.
We're back.
We're back at our house. We're back at the Digital Barbell headquarters. We're back at Digital Barbell Studios.
If
All of the things.
you guys don't know, you can also watch this on YouTube. And this will be a good episode to watch because we've got some visual cues sitting here on the desk that we're going to get into.
All right, let's get into that.
You got a sponsor for
We
today?
have got a sponsor, and this is a sponsor. This is not a fake sponsor. This is real, guys. This is exciting.
I'm appalled that you would assume that up until this point we've had fake sponsors on this show.
We are brand ambassadors for Athletic Brewing Company.
Cheers.
Now,
These are cold too. Should we drink these?
if you didn't know what Athletic Brewing Company is, they make a variety of delicious non-alcoholic beers.
They make the best tasting non-alcoholic beers across the board for sure.
And you can find these in grocery stores, you can find these in restaurants, you can find these in bars, in a lot of places. Not everywhere right now, but in a lot of places. But you can also find these by going to digitalbarbell.com/athletic, using the link and the discount code digitalbarbell20 to get yourself
Get 20%
20%
off your first order.
off your first order to try these out.
Highly recommend starting with this beer right here, the Upside Dawn. If you like IPAs, I would try the Run Wild. If you are currently in a fat loss phase, I would try the Athletic Light. It's only 25 calories. They have a Cerveza, which is really good.
Yeah.
You'll find that out at restaurants. But this Upside Dawn is like a super approachable. Even if you don't like beer, you might like the taste of this and a beer. Like you were never a big beer drinker,
Yeah.
but you got hooked on this thing. And like a couple things. I've been drinking Athletic Brewing since 2018, before we even moved to Boise.
Yeah.
It was only one place in town to find it, and I would go stock up there. And this was the only one that they had, the Upside Dawn, at that time. And I saw them starting to expand. And then there were some places towards the tail end of the time we lived in Boise where you could get it. I remember somebody actually mailed me a 6-pack
Yeah.
to Boise when we lived there as a gift before you could buy it there. But when you own an online fitness coaching business, or maybe you're just like a hashtag fitness influencer or whatever, you get pitched these ambassador deals from a lot of different supplement companies. We probably get like 10 a week. And they're just random people DMing us like, hey, be an ambassador for our supplement company. Your clients will get 20% off and you'll get a kickback or whatever. First of all, we don't get any cash for you using our discount
Right.
code. We actually applied to be ambassadors of Athletic because we truly do believe in the mission of helping people who want to drink less to have an alternative for those social situations where it might be awkward to not drink at all, or just to use this as a substitute for alcohol in situations where you don't want to have a hangover
Yeah.
the next day. You want to enjoy the taste of beer without the repercussions of it. So we applied for the ambassadorship. We heard back that we were accepted. And like, it's kind of funny because I never thought we would be like have a discount code for anything. And I've definitely made fun of that whole concept before because of so many companies reaching out to want people to do ambassadorships. There's people who are like brand new. They're like, use my code for my greens and my
Yeah.
red supplement and my protein powder and all this stuff. And like, first of all, you don't need to take any of those supplements. And I love the fact that we are standing behind something that isn't a supplement, but something that can actually make you healthier by drinking less alcohol and having a great tasting substitute for it.
I know. And it's like, it's like 7 months now since I've had alcohol. And like, I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, I don't even think about it anymore. Like, it's not even like a thought in my head of like, I want this, or I want to have some alcohol. And I think it is truly because of things like this that like, I brought these camping with us. Like I can usually order something like this brand or something similar at a restaurant or a bar when we're out. And it is just like completely taken the place of when I would drink alcohol. And I'm super happy with this. And I'm super happy with how I feel.
Yep.
This one in particular, like I was never like a huge beer drinker before, because there's something about like beer that kind of makes me kind of like, I don't know, I get like choked up on it or something. Like, and I really do think it's to have something to do with like maybe the gluten in beer, but this Upside Dawn is actually processed to remove the gluten. I don't think they can say it's gluten free, but it's like it's the,
Yeah, they extract the gluten after it's
the
brewed.
gluten is extracted. So unless you have like severe gluten intolerance, this is a great alternative too, if gluten bothers you. And I think we were just talking about with this to our coach Haley, like she was thinking that these things were super high in calories. This one in particular is only 45 calories. The one he was talking about, the Athletic Light, it is the lightest tasting beer. So you're not going to get a full body taste from it, but I think it's only 25 calories. And I've only seen them up to 50 calories a beer.
Yeah, maybe the IPA has 60, something like that.
What does a normal beer have?
Like a Budweiser for a 12-ounce can is 150 calories.
Oh, yeah,
These
okay.
IPAs that a lot of people are drinking right now are upwards of 250 to 300 calories per,
Yeah.
7 to 9% alcohol.
So you're not only, saving calories, you're saving yourself the effects that alcohol has on your body.
Yeah, this is not going to impair your sleep. This is not going to blunt muscle protein synthesis. Like, another cool thing about this company is they donate 2% of all sales, not 2% of profits, but sales to organizations that help restore trails in local neighborhoods. So if that's something that's important to you too. They have a mission behind the company too.
Awesome.
So
All right.
remind everybody where they can go to save 20% on their first order.
Digital Barbell, digitalbarbell.com/athletic. And you can use the link there and use the code digitalbarbell20 to get 20% off.
And we'll put
your
details
first
to all
order.
that in the notes for this episode or in the description
All
below
right.
if you're watching this on the YouTubes.
Yeah. So we did just get back. We've been a little bit over 2 weeks in the camper.
Yep.
We drove to Tennessee.
Covered about 2,000 miles.
Yeah. And
How much do we spend on gas?
$800.
That's right.
I just did the budget. And, I have to say, it's a cheap vacation.
Overall, yeah, I mean,
It's a
Airbnbs
cheap
are so stinking
vacation.
expensive
Yeah, it is
now.
a cheap vacation overall when you roll into an RV. And we stayed in some RV resorts, not just pull up to a campground and
Don't be
someone's right
bragging.
next to you.
Don't brag about our lifestyle.
I've never been to an RV resort before, and this one was pretty cool. They picked up your trash in the morning.
We got
and
in
stuff.
the swimming pool.
Yeah, it was fancy. But
What about that post you put up on Instagram? I think it was yesterday about what happened when we got back.
Yeah, we had some people were partying it up in our house, and by people I mean mice.
Before we left, I put out bait that's poison to.
We were having some issues in our house, and it's we've lived here. Was this our third summer here?
Yeah.
And we've never had issues before. We've heard of other people in the neighborhood having issues, and we're like, oh man, look, we don't have any issues with this. Thank goodness.
They must be messy people.
And it's not because you're messy. It's mice find a way in, and then they're like, okay, this is where we're gonna live. I don't know why they.
This is better than living outside.
I don't know why they come in, but the house we're living in is built poorly. I mean, it's a great house. I love this house, but it's a stone house where there's no sheetrock. It's stone on the outside and stone on the inside. And then Jonathan was in construction. They just decided, okay, then we're gonna run the roof against the stone, and stone is jagged.
Yeah.
So it's not sealed up. I used to always joke with Jonathan, get that foam and sealer up. If I ever saw a hole where a vermin could get in previous houses, I mean there's no way to seal this house up. The whole house is holes.
You'd go broke on foam.
Needless to say, there's no way to prevent this, but we kind of thought everything was in the clear, and we've been back, and I'm like, okay, they've smelled there's people and dogs in the house again. They've gone on their way. We've seen zero evidence of mice. We have 6 traps out. We've had 0 mice cut, and we're just chilling in the living room last night, 9:30, and Jonathan hears a noise, and he's like, a mouse just got trapped. I was like, no, and I literally jumped on the coffee table, and here he comes out with the mice in the trap.
He's so cute.
They're so tiny, and it's almost ridiculous. I'm like,
never did get a look at his face though. It was inside the trap.
Yeah. Our neighbors gave us some cat food, and I think that works to attract them a little bit better than dog food for some reason.
Which is ironic because cats, you think mice would be away from cats.
Yeah.
But the good news is that our neighbors have 4 cats, and they've recently decided to let the cats prowl at night. Usually they come inside during the night. So we basically have 4 security guards patrolling the property all night now.
Mm-hmm. But about the trip, I was going to talk about something more important than mice. It was about kind of maybe some of the methods that we used to stay on track. We did bring our scale with us, and Jonathan was like, I want to be able to weigh myself on the road, and we never really brought it out
I
once.
did it exactly once.
There's no space in the camper to keep it, so you got to pull it out and all that stuff. Anyway, so I ended up being pretty much exactly the same weight and everything whenever we left as when we came back. What about you?
Exactly the same.
Not that weight is the ultimate thing, but it's a good source of like
It was,
tracking.
if you come back and you weigh 5 pounds more, it's pretty good sign that you did not stay on track on your trip.
So let's talk through some of the methods that we used.
Yeah.
And given we were like in our camper, so we do have access all the time to like a refrigerator and a pantry and a kitchen. So that was, I think, one of the biggest things that we did is because we were traveling with my family. So my brother and his wife and their kids were there, and my family was there. So like we were also like, doing some family things together. So unless we were doing like a family meal or something like that, or one night we went to a concert and we had dinner at the restaurant, we ate.
The dog.
We ate our own food.
Yeah.
And we ate pretty much the same food that we would eat at home. So I think that was a huge
tip number one right there.
Yeah. We didn't change it up. Like,
and even if you're not going to be going on a camping trip in your camper that you're pulling behind you.
If you're at an Airbnb and you're like, okay, there's some things I want to do out, some meals I want to get out, but for the majority of our meals, let's just cook like we're at home.
Yeah. That's a huge thing. Like
we cooked our own breakfast every day, things like that.
Yeah.
We did like eat a lot of sandwiches because there was like days we were on the road, and that was what we ate in the car. But that also saved us stopping and going through a drive-through or getting something like junk from a gas station.
Yeah. I think we could back up and be like, the point of this trip was to go spend time with family, to do something different and get out of our normal routine of our camper. Like, this wasn't like a foodie trip. So we went into it with the expectation with like, there are going to be occasions that we want to make about food, like birthday cake. And
we went out to pizza with the family one night, and we used to actually live in the city we visited, and there was
going
an
to
amazing
get frozen yogurt
shop that we used to visit all the time. And actually when we were eating there, my sister-in-law was like, this is why you started CrossFit and then digital barbell. I was like, yes, we actually noticed we were eating too much Sweet CC's. That was the name of the yogurt shop. And we were like, look, we got to do something. And that's why we found CrossFit, and then why we are here today, because of that yogurt. So we had to go get some of that.
But we didn't decide like this whole trip is about just like gluttony and just just eat until our belts are popping open. So anyway, that was our expectation. We wanted to stay mostly hashtag on track during this trip. So that's why we cared.
And I think the second thing that we did, and I did for myself especially, is like I tracked my steps. I wanted to make sure, even on traveling days, even when every day, I wanted to hit 10,000 steps. So we, we would go take the dogs for a walk. We would move on purpose every day. Even if it wasn't doing a workout, we would just move on purpose. And I think that helped a lot. Because, honestly, like when you're traveling and you're in a car, and when you're in a camper, you're in a very small space. So you walk way less than you do even in a regular home. So you've got to make steps a priority.
You got to do it on purpose.
Yeah. And the third thing we did is we toted our dumbbells, our adjustable dumbbells with us.
And some bands.
And, while I think adjustable dumbbells, they're a great space saver. All we had to do was bring two 50-pound dumbbells, and we had all like 10 to 50. They're a big pain in the butt. They're very awkward, but it is better than nothing. And we got use out of them. We didn't work out as much as we do at home. We worked at not even close. But between controlling the food that we ate, between getting our steps in and activity in, and doing a handful of workouts, I think that that was a successful 2 weeks. And it's one of the things that I do worry about when we're like gone, because I do like, I get into my routines, and I'm like, okay, this is when I work out. This is my space. And it's like kind of freeing to be like, okay, I can do this. I can be out in the world and maintaining the fitness I've built and the health I've built.
It's really, I talk to clients about this a lot. Like these kind of trips and stuff like this, they're opportunities to find like what is a sustainable balance, and to flex the skills that you've built in the time where you are more dialed in. Like somebody who doesn't spend any time building healthy habits really has no clue how to stay anywhere near on track on a vacation, because they just don't have the skills and habits. But somebody who spends time dedicated to building healthy habits, understanding how to fuel themselves with nutrition, what recovery should look like, what a good workout looks like. Yeah. Vacation is a great time to flex those skills and find the balance of something is better than nothing.
That's a great point. It's just like you've already learned how to do this, so flex those skills.
Go do it.
Use the things that you've learned outside of your comfort zone,
And you don't have to be the person who partakes in nothing fun
Right.
on vacation. That is not what we want for you. That's not what we want for ourselves.
Exactly.
It's not what we did on this trip. And one other thing I'll point out is like you kind of earn, nobody really talks about this, but if you are consistent with your training and nutrition for a long period of your life, because it is part of your lifestyle, like it is for us, like you have a lot of leeway with what you can get away with for short periods of time on these kinds of trips without it having any impact on your overall results.
Yeah, for the last 12 or so years, we've trained regularly with heavy weights, more often than not with barbells.
Right.
So it's okay to take spans of time that we just have access to dumbbells and bands.
Picture like a glass of water, and like we'll say that is your overall fitness lifestyle. That's the totality of everything you do to stay in shape. And then let's say you're somebody who like doesn't do anything to stay in shape. That's still your glass of water. And let's say you take red food coloring and you drop like a week of really off track lifestyle into that. The whole glass is going to turn red because you have so little volume in that small cup of water. So that's just, does that make sense? This is not a very well thought out analogy, but my point is like,
I have water.
If you're already living a pretty unhealthy lifestyle and then you go on a trip and you just completely disregard your health and nutrition, like it's going to have a big impact on you. But if you're somebody who is like doing most of the right things most of the time, it's like you're starting with this giant pool of water, like a swimming pool size. And then you drop in that same amount of red food coloring that represents unhealthy choices, and it has almost no impact on the color of the water because you're starting with such a big base of health and fitness to start with.
So let's talk about that health and fitness, because I think this can be easy. I'm not going to say this is easy, but this can be easy with like pretty much like three easy segments to follow. The first one is, how do you eat? I think we all know how to eat. And I'm not going to label food as good or bad or anything like that, but we all know how to eat. And I love to refer to the CrossFit prescription for nutrition of eat meat, seeds, nuts, fruit, vegetables, some grains,
Little starch,
no sugar. Yeah. So we're eating our protein, we're eating our vegetables, we're eating our grains, we're eating some starches like potatoes and beans and things like that, and we're eating little to no sugar.
Right. They went really overboard on the no sugar part, but we've talked about that before.
Yeah. But that's a super easy prescription. And then, you go from there. Like, what kind of protein sources do you like? Try to keep them lean. What kind of fruits and vegetables do you like? Try to keep them plenty.
Try to steer clear of the carbohydrate sources that are super easy to overeat because they're made in the lab.
Which are the ones that are processed. So try to steer clear of the carbohydrate sources that come in prepackaged boxes and bags. And create your meals there, and you can create wonderful meals using spices and flavors, and like anything that you can dream, you can probably cook up. Oh geez, good thing that wasn't opened. So that's how you eat. How do you train? I would say, like, generally train 3+ times a week. We prefer to train 5 days a week. It's up to you. It's up to your schedule. It's what your body can handle. That's what we think, and we think that you should train with heavy weights, with progressive overloads. Simple as that.
And that you should do conditioning.
And move. I think that
daily activity,
moving daily, whether it's a training day or not, is super important. Tracking your steps. Do you normally, do you normally get 5,000? Get 5,000. Now let's up it to 6. Now let's up it to 7. Like, keep track of what you do and make sure that you're staying within a standard number of steps that works for you, and trying to like gradually increase that.
Just keeps you from being sedentary.
Okay. That's easy. I mean, that's why I say it can be easy, and I think it can be easy. It can be easy and simple if you don't get too distracted by all these other outside things. And those other outside things can be like, oh my gosh, my friend just did the XX whatever diet, whatever program, whatever challenge, and lost 15 pounds. But when you look at what they did, it was a super complicated thing that, like, kind of going in, that like it's going to be too challenging to probably sustain, and you kind of are giving yourself this way out anyway, like making like
We talked about how like maybe even we sometimes subconsciously go for these like hard, restrictive, complicated type challenges, like as a way to know we have like a way out.
Yeah.
When it gets hard, like, well, of course I wasn't going to be able to sustain that. Look how hard it was. Or of course I lost my results. Like who could keep up doing that kind of stuff? It's
So,
like, it's a form of self-sabotage that we probably don't even realize we're doing when we gravitate towards those quick fix, hardcore type things.
yeah. So keeping it with the simple things that we already know work, I think is what's going to get you successful. And what I define successful is my health. Like I'm not looking for anything other than just like being as healthy as I can for as long as I can.
It's interesting to talk about because like I said, it's simple. I don't know if I agree with you that it's easy. I think
it's not
maybe
easy.
your point is that it can be easy.
It can be easy.
I think most people just have to get to the point where they commit to doing the simple thing long enough to where like the foundational habit is built. I think about what Sean said in his interview last week. Like he changed his base level habits to where the point now it is easy because that's kind of his default to go to. But we have to avoid all the shiny objects of being tempted by doing these hardcore buckle down challenges long enough and really be willing to commit to doing the simple things that seem too good to be true for long enough to let them get a longer lasting result. Because let's be honest, like the things that you just said, eat well, train this way and move, they do work, but they're not going to give you the quick result that doing something hardcore like 75 hard or cutting out sugar or alcohol completely for 60 days. And people want fast results, but those results are fleeting when they can no longer sustain those hard things that they did because they were never sustainable in the first place. So it's simple, but getting to the point where it becomes your routine isn't easy.
Yeah.
But it can be if you decide up front, I'm done with all the stuff that has never worked in the past. It hasn't worked. Like stop saying that keto worked for me because I lost 30 pounds. Weight Watchers worked for me because I lost the weight. No, you gained it all back. It didn't work. Right. Stop being tempted to do those things and commit to doing the simple thing that seems too good to be true. Then it truly will be easy because that is a sustainable lifestyle that you can keep doing.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on going on a rant.
No, it's good. It's a good rant. Yeah. And I think like one of the things Sean said in there, and I've had this really good conversation with another client, Sarah, like about kind of falling in with the process, like falling in love with the process of it, it becomes a habit for you. So, someone who has like never really made training a habit of theirs, that it's hard in the beginning. It's hard to make yourself get up and get out there and get to the weights. And then once you do it, it becomes this habit that's just in place. It's like instinctively what you do. And that is where the magic happens. Because I think I even talked with Sean on that. Like he went on a trip and he's like, okay, I'm in the process so much that I'm bringing bands and I'm going to do exactly what the list says for me to do today, but I'm going to do it with bands because I'm not in my gym. And I'm like, that's when you're in the process. I mean, you're
chasing the process as the goal, like, and you have the habit.
And it's the habit. Yeah. The habit has been established enough to where that's what you do on those days.
I guess what I want the takeaway from this to be is like that you don't have to go look for anything more complicated than the three things that Blakely just said. Like you don't need to.
Yeah.
If you want to make your life more complicated and continue to go through a yo-yo cycle of doing hardcore things and falling off and going back and beating yourself up and being confused about what to do next, you can, but you don't have to. There is a simple way and it can be easy.
It can be easy. I was just going through our finances. So when we did recently, like some, what do you call it? Like
last year we hired a financial planner to help us just get our stuff in order. Like be more organized.
And this was something that like I was like good at like writing down what we spent, but I was not good at the other side of finances, which is like investing money and all of these things. Like, so
you're great at accounting, but not really the planning,
right?
Which,
it's like, I didn't know how to do it. So it's kind of like we hired a coach.
Let's give him a shout out.
Justin Green.
Yep.
And he taught me how to do every 3 months, do these like rolling averages, and to kind of see both for the business and for your personal, like where your growth is. And that's, I mean, like, that's a great idea. It's something I'd never done before either. And I was just doing the 3-month one for our personal finances. And it's just like, it's really cool to see like growth, and because you kind of have your head down, you're doing all the things that your coach has told you to do over the past 3 months, and it's little things at a time. Like I'm putting in like $42 here into this, moving things into like an investment, and it doesn't seem like much at the time, and then you get to this 3-month mark, and it's almost like taking a progress picture at 3 months or something.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what just happened? Like I didn't even see this happening, and like you see like, oh my gosh, like I'm like, look, I've lost all this weight, or I look how much fitter I am. I can do this so much faster. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look how much more money we're investing in, in like saving now. So I found it really cool.
And the same thing has happened with us, was like, he set up all these systems for us to like put money here to save, put money here to save, and to, use this account for high yield savings and then move it over here, blah, blah, blah. And like, now the process of doing all that stuff makes us excited. Like, I want to do the process because I see the result that we get on these, on the, when you calculate our finances and we see how things are trending better because we're doing the process. Now it's like, we're like excited to save.
And it's kind of like what we were just talking about. It can be easy because it's like, here's the process, but it wasn't easy at first, and it was scary at first. And I was unsure at first. I wasn't used to doing these different things with money. And I was used to just seeing them in like a checking and savings account. And I wasn't used to doing anything else with it. And now, like you said, I have the process, and I'm like involved. I'm like, oh, this is the process. I'm like so into the process because I know there's going to be this result in the end. Yeah. Yeah. But
once again, we had a whole episode on this with Justin about tying the similarities between personal finance and nutrition and training and stuff together, but you don't need anything complicated to save for retirement to become wealthy. You don't need like to get distracted by crypto and NFTs and all the shiny objects. Maybe some people get rich off that, but look at people who build significant wealth. Almost all of them do it the normal way. They don't inherit it. They live on less than they make, and they invest the difference in investments that have compounding interest over time in a diversified portfolio, and they have a system to make sure that they invest regularly. Like they build the habit of paying themselves first. It's like this, all this stuff is exactly the same in getting results with your fitness.
Yeah. Similarly, they go on vacation, they can still, like all the things that you can do.
If you got $1 million in the bank and you go on vacation and you drop $1,000 on an experience, it doesn't hurt you as bad as if you live in paycheck to paycheck and you go on vacation and have to put it on a credit card and then come back and pay the piper.
Now flip it on the health side. Do that same role you just did, but on the health side, what are you doing?
Even on vacation?
No, the whole rigmarole you just rolled out.
It's back to the same example I said before. Like if 10 months out of the year you are hitting your nutrition 80% of the time, and then you go on vacation and you don't even
you said like you're spending less, or you're spending less than you make. Like same thing, you're eating.
Oh yeah, if you're eating the right amount of food over the course of most of the year, and then you go on a trip and you eat over your calories, even if you're not tracking, like a week out of the year, it has no impact on your overall results because it's such a small percentage of your overall health net worth.
Yeah. Very cool.
Fitness and finances. I could love talking about both. I really wasn't even like into finances that much until we hired him and like got the systems in place to actually start, changing the trajectory of our future. It's exciting.
Yeah. It's very cool.
What else we got?
I just wanted to give it a shout out. We have had some significant digital barbell anniversaries lately pop up. So I just wanted to say some names here because we have...
Should we talk about each person? That's a lot of names on there.
I don't think we can talk about each person. Maybe they don't want us to talk about. I'm not going to even give last names. I'm just going to first names only. But we've had 3 people hit a 4-year anniversary with digital barbell. That's amazing to me. So that is like 2019 they started with us.
That's so cool.
That is Bill, Jake, and Melissa. You guys are just incredibly awesome, and we and all of you guys, we thank you guys so much for like your trust and support and throughout these years.
One quote I always remember from Bill And I'm assuming he still feels this way because he said this at like year 2. He said that the money he spends on working with us is the best money he spends all month.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool to think.
That is cool.
You can spend money on a lot of things,
can.
a lot of subscription services out there that can make your life better.
Yeah.
And he knows, investing in his health has made a huge difference.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right.
That's 4 years. That's awesome.
4 years. 3-year mark. This means that they, in the midst of COVID,
I love this.
I know these people were like, I'm going to do something. And I think that's really cool to me. This is Bethany, Grayson, Carol, Kimberly, Sean, Marshall, Cynthia, Sam, and Wilson.
3 years.
3 years. Starting with Digital Barbell in 2020.
Some of these people are friends now too, I'll say.
Yeah, I know. That's what's even cooler. And like one of the things I didn't expect with an online company that I was having a taste of owning an in-person gym.
Yeah.
Is that even though we've like never actually seen these people in person, we've created relationships with people.
Someone we have seen in person now.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with our camper and like more trips coming up.
I know.
When we have our first conference. We
and
get everybody together.
And we give out some athletic brews.
We'll be giving out all kinds of these bad boys.
That's the other benefit, is we're going to be able to host events and give you guys some free products. Very cool. All right. And finally, 2 years. 2 years with Digital Barbell. We've got Matthew, Tim, James, Maura, Scott, 2 Mikes, Mike and Mike, Jeff, Ray, Amanda, Amy, Benson, Kyla, Debbie, Elizabeth, John, and Anna.
Wow.
Again, thank you guys so much for your trust. Like
There's
that,
some couples
it
in there.
means so much to have you trust. And some people we've seen like make so many bounce from, I just want to do training, now I'm going to do nutrition. Okay, now I'm going to come back and do this and that, and that's been really cool too.
Yeah. And actually, like, there's a lot of people who they'll work with us for a while, and then for whatever reason, like they're in a good place and they don't want coaching anymore. And then sometimes people just come back and they're like, hey, I miss working with you.
Yeah.
So sometimes the anniversaries get a little screwed up too, but we appreciate each and every one of you guys that lets us be a part of your health and fitness journey. And I know we speak for Haley because a lot of those people are her clients also.
Definitely.
We feel super blessed to get to help you guys.
Definitely.
Anything else you got today?
That's it.
All right. You guys go to digitalbarbell.com/athletic.
Cheers.
Use the code digitalbarbell20. Get 20% off your first order of brews. Take advantage of that discount.
Yeah.
Try a bunch of different varieties.
Yeah, if you haven't tried them,
and then you'll find out which ones you really like.
Yep.
And then we'll have a link for you to place future orders also. We'll put a link to that in the notes for this episode. All right.
All right.
You guys enjoy the rest of your day.